Humans, this is an adoption campaign, but it's not for me, or Mr. Buttons, or Frank over there. It's for you, humans. This is a call to humans to adopt our movement, to adopt our cause.
This isn't just about saving one of us.
It's about saving all of us.
Thousands of lives, every single day.
It's about support for every one of us four, and sometimes not four-legged best friends, waiting to meet a best friend of our own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge.
Shelter by shelter, city by city.
We can save thousands of pets each day. Join us. Together we can save them all.
Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. Come on out to the animal shelter this weekend. We'll be walking dogs. The shelter is short-staffed right now, so if you have any time during the week or if you have time this weekend, they could use some help. So even if you don't want to come walk dogs, there are plenty of things that you can do around the shelter. And remember that there are plenty of puppies, plenty of cats. You can come in and just socialize animals, pet them, do all kinds of things that can help enrich all of these dogs and cats' lives. So meet us out there this Saturday, 9:30 to 11:30. We'll be walking dogs. Otherwise, give the shelter a shout out. You can call them and leave a message, or you can go on the Facebook page and message them there if you've got some time this week to do some things to help them. They are very much, they have way more dogs and cats than they do kennels right now, so they've got some in crates, and the dogs in the crates could use some walking. That's extra time out for them, so give them a call. Now, and you can also meet Alina. So she is our pet of the week. Alina is very good, a pup with other dogs. This is her at an adoption event, actually. So she does great with people. She's great with kids. She's one of the volunteer favorites. So she gets to go out on Saturdays and have the best time with everybody. And we are just desperately trying to find her a home. So if you're looking for a dog, she's young. She's a little over a year old, I believe, and she is up to date on all of her shots, and she is just ready to go. So please come out and meet Alina, and maybe you can have the same experience that my guest had. I have asked Dwayne Berger. He and his wife Sonia adopted one of the shelter dogs, so we've got a great story about his journey with that pup. And he also adopted a couple of kittens from the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill foster system. And those kittens were actually fostered by Jonathan and I. So I'll let Dwayne talk about his journey with these dogs and cats, because you already had dogs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show to talk about these stories. So let's get to it. Tell us about, we'll start with the kittens, because you got those first before the dog.
We did.
So tell us about BB and Ezzy. What happened with them, and why did you and Sonia decide to adopt those kittens?
Well, Sonia was wanting another kitten. We had one cat and two Cairn Terriers, and you had talked with her, and she came down and saw Beatrice, BB, and the two of her and Esmeralda were kind of all balled up together, and you had told us that they were the last ones out from a tough situation under a porch, and she just felt sorry for Ezzy. Ezzy is a little minx with no tail. BB's got probably the longest tail I've ever seen on a cat. And so she brought the two of them home. That was kind of a surprise to me, because she told me she was going to get a cat.
There's Ezzy right there, currently in her happy home.
And for the first couple of weeks, we put them in a room by themselves. We had another cat, Rooster, and it was a female. We didn't know how they were going to interact, but they do fine together. But the two of them would stay balled up. You couldn't tell one from the other most of the time when they were sleeping. Eventually they came out, and they have just loved on everybody. They are the most fun. Ezzy, as you walk out in the morning, she'll trot out in front of you and just flop on the ground on her side and want petted. BB's more standoffish, and she's a big cat, and she pretty much rules the roost. Just wants to love on everybody, and they've just been absolutely wonderful.
Well, we certainly appreciate your interest in the kittens, and we normally have well over 50 cats in foster through Feral Dogs, and so it's something to where we love it when we can find some homes, of course. And the pictures that came up, we had a couple of them right when we found them, before we got them cleaned up. So we
Oh,
got to
my
see how
goodness.
tiny and dirty they were versus what a wonderful life they have now with you and Sonia. But let's talk about the giant dog that you got. I mean, we have a shelter dog, and you've got a story of how she ended up. There's Layla right now at your house, looking quite happy to have a home finally. So tell us Layla's story.
Sonia had talked to Jonathan, and Jonathan suggested that I run by the shelter and take a look at Layla because she had been fostered out a couple times and neither one of them worked out. And so I was out on deliveries. I have my own business and I go out on my own deliveries. So I coming back through town. I was actually shanghaied, I think, by my wife because she knew as soon as I saw this dog, there was no turning around. I went in, got Layla out, went for a walk with her. She would minded on the leash. I'd call her back, she'd come back to me. So I actually probably broke a few rules. I let her off leash on the trail. She stayed with me. She'd go out, she did her business, she came back. She walked with me. I put her back on the leash, and she's been by my side ever since.
Now, you take her to work with you, don't you?
I do.
Take her out on deliveries and things like that?
She goes to the shop with me, which is about a mile away, stays with me all day, and when I go out on deliveries, if the temperatures are not just brutal, but I can leave the truck running with the AC running and the window down, and I have no worries about anybody running off with my vehicle because she's very protective of me still.
Now, we've got the picture up of the day you brought her home from the shelter.
Yeah.
So you can see just how skinny she had gotten, not because of the shelter, but
No.
she had gotten into a rough foster situation that the shelter figured out and they had to go take her back.
Yes, they did.
So,
And
but
she was really shy at first. She's really come into her own though. She's had a rough life. You could tell simply by some of her physicalness, and found out we couldn't figure out why she was shy of gunshots and thunder, but took her to get x-rayed for some arthritis she has, and we found some BBs.
okay.
So she's been shot at, and so and with any animal you get from a shelter, there's intricacies that you don't know what happened with their past life, but they'll expose themselves to you and you can deal with them as you go.
And that's great that you saw things, so we can talk about some of the mannerisms that you saw, but Dwayne and I were discussing before we came on the show that there's a 3-3-3 rule. I mean, what is it? You got 3 days that a dog can just kind of calm down and realize, okay, they're at a home, and then 3 weeks to do some training, but it takes 3 months to really have an animal settle down at your house and become that pet that you're going to have. And we see so often at the shelter, people adopt a dog and then they will bring it back the same day. And you got to give a dog time to decompress. So let's talk about Layla's journey with her decompression and her relation with your grandkids and those sorts of things.
First, with the other dogs, she would lay over on the side on her own little rug and wouldn't interact too much. Although both of them one's 17 years old, one's 9, so the 9-year-old was pretty rambunctious and wanted to play and was always sniffing her, and I was worried at first, but you could tell there was no aggression. And pretty soon the two of them were palling around outside, and wherever one goes, the other goes, so that's really fun to see now. And then with the cats were wanting to just find out what this great big huge thing was, and Layla would walk away and they'd come sniff at her on the ground, and she'd get up on her love seat and stay away from them. But now again, I've got 6 animals in the house now, and they all get along very well.
That's great.
So,
it's good when everything's in harmony when you have a house full of animals.
it is, and Layla's really come into her own. She loves kids. She hasn't met a kid yet now. Since that first 3 days, we weren't really doing things the proper way, because we brought the kids over the second day she was in the house, and they were having a sleepover, and that just didn't work. The dog didn't know what the kids were doing. The kids didn't realize that this big dog wasn't going to eat them for lunch. And but since then, actually on Easter Sunday, one of the boys, my grandson, was 4 years old, and he was all excited about getting eggs, and his daddy picked him up, and when he did, he was pulling his eggs away and teasing him, and Case let out a squeal. Layla jumped up and pointed right at my son-in-law, and then when my son-in-law tipped Case over, she went over and walked right to the edge of the stairs and growled, and I was up on her and holding on to her, and she just didn't like him messing with that child.
It sounds like the kids have such a great relationship with her that she's become quite the dog for them.
They do. Yeah. Whenever they come over, that's the first thing I want to know. Where's Layla? Where's Layla? Can we go outside? And they play chase. They don't play chase in the normal sort of way. They run, and she chases them, and they think that's the greatest thing in the world. So
we have just a minute or so. Give us a little rundown. You found out later what her story was, because oftentimes, of course, we don't know the stories of the dogs that come in the shelter, and that's where you really have to give them time to decompress and learn and understand how to live in a home, a loving home. In just a few seconds, let's talk about what you found out about her.
Yeah, we found out from a third party. We found out her original name, and we used it once, and she responded to it, but we didn't want to use that to confuse her. Okay. She was left abandoned when people moved out of a house. We don't know how or who found her and how she got to the shelter, but she did end up at the shelter. Like I said, we pretty sure she's been shot at, and she's got some fairly severe arthritis in her back before her hips, and that causes her some pain when she gets over rambunctious, but it's manageable. Okay. And so long as we keep that, she's just happy to be around.
Well, we just absolutely appreciate the fact that you and Sonia adopted Layla. And I talked to the shelter yesterday that you were coming on here, and everybody was so excited to hear stories about her and see some pictures of her, because she was one of the volunteer favorites. She was such a gentle dog to walk and a sweet dog to walk. So there are plenty of dogs like Layla at the shelter. Please come out this weekend to meet those dogs. If you're looking for a pet, or share any posts that you see about the available dogs like Alina here, so that we can find more pups homes. And thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll have you on again to talk about some other things. Dwayne's got all kinds of interesting things he can talk about. But come out to the shelter this weekend, and we'll have more Daybreak after these messages.